Anthony Davis wants to be traded, wants to leave the New Orleans Pelicans. He wants to be traded somewhere. His agent, Rich Paul, by the way, is maybe a familiar name to most Cleveland Cavaliers fan. Rich Paul, Clevelander, in fact, went to my high school, went to Cleveland Benedictine. The agent for LeBron-James, also right now the agent for J.R. Smith, the agent for Tristan-Thompson, and some others. Also the agent for Anthony Davis, the star player for the Pelicans. Anyway, he came out and told ESPN, Rich Paul said that, quote, Anthony wants to be part of a team that allows him to win consistently and contend for a title. He has a year and a half to go on his contract. In other words, he cannot become a free agent till summer 2020, not 2019, 2020. All right, so he wants to be traded. He says if they don't trade him, whenever he becomes an unrestricted free agent, 2020, he's out of here. Cavs fans know this story is very similar to what Kyrie Irving did in the summer of 2017. With 2 years to go on his contract, told the Cavaliers, trade me or I'm leaving in 2 years. And of course, he made threats even not to play. That's a little different than what Anthony Davis did. But I'll simply throw this out there. Mentioned Rich Paul, represents LeBron-James, who's with the Lakers, who are looking for another star. You can imagine Anthony Davis would love to play with LeBron-James. LeBron would love to play with Anthony Davis. And maybe this happens, maybe not. The Pelicans certainly have a choice on where they want to trade him. But here's where the player has also some control. Yeah, you could say, whoa, shoot, maybe they'll trade him to Cleveland, you know, and Davis could say, fine, you can trade me to Cleveland. I'm not going to sign there either in 2020. So Davis and his agent will want to put their leverage for it to go to a place where they think they could win. You know, I look at all this, and it's not just if you're a Cavs fan, but if you're a New Orleans fan, if you're a fan of many of these other mid-market teams in the NBA, I think it's pretty disheartening. The last team to keep their stars together were the San Antonio Spurs. They did it with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. You know, they were able to keep that whole group with Greg Popovich as the coach. But now you just don't see it more and more, I think, because a lot of the younger players come out of the AAU culture. And basically, we are living a culture now in basketball where in the college ranks, 40% of all players transfer within their first 2 years in Division I. 40%. You know, in the summer they play on different teams all the time. And those of you who follow high school basketball know how players bounce from team to team, often trying to get with the best talent around them. So now in the NBA they're doing it. You know, free agency was supposed to be the way to do it. And we could knock LeBron James all we want. Whenever he did switch teams, he played out his contract and then he left. But now these guys are signing extensions like Kyrie Irving did or Anthony Davis did and just announcing way in advance, well, I'm not going to stay there. You're better off trading me. Not only that, I want to go to a really good team. So, you know, you look at, does Anthony Davis show up with the Lakers or somewhere else? He very well could. And I don't know. I guess it's, if I lived in Los Angeles, I think this would be wonderful. But if you're living in a place like Cleveland or whatever, it's discouraging. And maybe this is also part of the reason, I think, when the Cavaliers had a chance to sign an extension with Kevin Love, not that he's in the same class as Anthony Davis, but he's a pretty good player, five-time All-Star. They did it hoping he would stay healthy because, frankly, he's a player that actually wants to stay in Cleveland. So we'll see how all of this plays out, but I think it makes it very difficult for the, as I would say, the mid-market teams. And that's why more than ever the way to do this, if you're the Cavaliers or these other teams rebuilding, you've got to nail it in the draft. You've got to get the draft picks right because you could hopefully get 4 or 5 years out of these guys before they want to be traded or leave somewhere else.